The person you care about may have been trying to send you a message every single day, and the most unsettling part is this. They may not be saying it with clear words. They may be speaking through distance, silence, strange moods, or reactions that seem too big for the moment. Under many arguments, under so much tension, under that cold pause that suddenly fills a room, there is often a hidden message waiting to be understood. And when you finally learn to notice it, you may realize what they have been trying so hard to tell you all along. So stay with me, because this matters more than most people think. Human beings rarely show their deepest truth in a direct way. The heart often speaks through emotion, habits, patterns, expressions, and little signals most people ignore. Someone who constantly wants your attention may not simply be asking for more time. They may really be asking, "Do I matter to you at all?" Someone who pulls away may not truly be rejecting you. They may be protecting a part of themselves that still remembers pain. A person may say they are fine, yet their body, their tone, and their eyes reveal tiredness, sadness, or a quiet cry for support. Another person may get angry over small things, but the real cause may come from an older wound that was never faced. What you see on the surface is often only the cover. The real story lives underneath, and once you understand that, the way you see people begins to change. There is a silent language moving beneath words all the time. It lives in pauses, in body language, in repeated reactions, in habits, and in emotional patterns people do not even realize they are showing. Many people are not fully aware that their deepest feelings are shaping the way they speak, connect, love, avoid, or defend themselves. That is why a person can say one thing and show another. Their mind may want peace, while their pain is still acting out an old story. Their voice may say, "I am okay," while their behavior says, "Please notice that I am not." Their logic may want closeness, while fear quietly pushes them to step back. Watch this closely, because it explains so many painful misunderstandings. The deeper part of a person often speaks in emotion, not in perfect sentences. A strange discomfort around someone, a repeated conflict, a strong reaction to a simple comment. These are not random moments, they are signals. They are invitations to look deeper instead of accepting only what appears on the surface. Most people learn to build a version of themselves that looks strong, independent, calm, or untouched. But hidden inside that image are softer parts still waiting to be seen. Over time, those hidden parts start showing up in relationships, in conflict, in fear, and in the moments that hit closest to the heart. Understanding this does not mean trying to control people or read their minds. It means becoming more aware, more patient, more compassionate. Instead of asking only, "Why are they acting like this?" we begin asking, "What feeling is living under this behavior?" That one shift can change everything. Repeated patterns are one of the clearest ways a hidden emotional truth tries to come into the light. People often think every choice they make comes from reason and clear thought, but that is not always true. Many reactions come from old emotional experiences that were never fully understood. So when the same problem keeps returning, when the same type of conflict keeps appearing in different forms, when the same fear rises again and again, it may be pointing to something deeper that needs attention. A person may keep choosing relationships where they feel unseen. Someone else may keep having the same painful argument with different people. Another may react strongly to something small because that moment touched a much older wound. These patterns are rarely accidents. They usually carry a message about belief, fear, expectation, or pain that is still shaping the way a person moves through life. Someone who constantly wants approval may not simply enjoy praise. Deep inside, they may fear that without it, they have no value. Someone who avoids emotional closeness may not be unable to love. They may have learned that opening up leads to hurt, so the behavior becomes protection. Even when that protection starts damaging the very life they want, it continues because it once felt safe. Patterns are like mirrors. They show us parts of ourselves we do not always want to face, and that is why people run from them. But if you stop and ask, what is this pattern trying to tell me, you may find the beginning of real change. That is where growth starts. Not when life gets easier, but when you finally understand what keeps repeating and why. Every difficult cycle carries information. It may be showing you an old wound that still needs healing, a belief that no longer serves you, or a part of yourself that needs acceptance instead of shame. That does not mean every hard experience is your fault. Life brings painful situations on its own, and other people make their own choices. But when a pattern keeps showing up again and again, there is often something important to learn. Here is the twist most people miss. The goal is not to blame yourself. The goal is to become conscious enough to respond differently. Once you see the pattern, you no longer have to obey it. You can choose a new way of speaking, a new way of thinking, a new way of loving, a new way of protecting your peace. The cycle that once controlled you can become the doorway to a wiser version of you. And the same is true in relationships. The hidden parts of us often rise to the surface through the people closest to us. Relationships act like mirrors. They bring out hidden feelings, hidden fears, and hidden desires we may not notice when we are alone. A person may strongly dislike a quality in someone else, but that intense reaction may reveal something inside themselves that they have not accepted. Someone who is overly critical of another person's confidence may secretly struggle with deep insecurity. Someone who cannot tolerate another person's mistakes may be carrying an unbearable fear of failure. The people nearest to us often touch the very places we try hardest to hide. That is why love can feel healing one moment and painfully exposing the next. The reaction is not always only about what is happening now. Sometimes it is also about what happened long before this moment began. Many conflicts are not caused only by what the other person did. They are shaped by the meaning we attach to what happened. A late reply may feel like rejection. A disagreement may feel like abandonment. A simple comment may awaken an old insecurity that has been waiting in silence for years. This is why some reactions seem bigger than the event itself. The deeper part of the mind is not responding only to the present. It is also responding to memory, fear, and unfinished emotion. And if you do not understand that, you may keep fighting the wrong battle. Stay with me here, because this can transform the way you see love. Recognizing these hidden parts does not mean ignoring harmful behavior or pretending everything is your issue. It means being honest enough to ask what your emotions are trying to show you. Instead of reacting at once with anger, fear, or judgment, you pause. You become curious. You ask, why did this hit me so deeply? What part of me is being touched right now? That kind of awareness creates room for healing. It stops the cycle where one wound keeps talking to another wound. When you understand your hidden sides, relationships can become places of growth rather than endless confusion. You stop expecting another person to heal every broken place inside you. You begin building that connection within yourself. And then something changes. You become less reactive, more grounded, more able to love without losing yourself. The hidden side of you is not proof that you are weak. It is a forgotten part of your human experience asking to be seen. And when you face it with honesty, you begin to understand others with much more grace. Silence is one of the strongest forms of communication, but people misunderstand it all the time. Most people trust spoken words because words seem clear. Silence feels uncertain. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like a blank space the mind wants to fill immediately. But silence often carries emotions that words cannot hold. A person's quietness, hesitation, withdrawal, or absence may reveal a meaning far deeper than anything they are ready to say. When someone becomes silent, it does not always mean they have nothing to express. Sometimes it means what they feel is too painful, too confusing, or too risky to put into words. They may fear being judged. They may fear being dismissed. They may fear saying the wrong thing and losing even more. So silence becomes protection. a hiding place, a shield. Someone who stops sharing may not have stopped caring. They may be waiting to see whether anyone notices their change. Someone who goes quiet after conflict may not be trying to punish you. They may be carrying hurt, disappointment, or emotional overload they do not know how to explain yet. And this is where many people make a mistake. They fill silence with assumptions. They decide it means coldness, anger, indifference, or rejection. But what if it means pain? What if it means exhaustion? What if it means I need safety before I can speak? Understanding silence requires patience. It asks for emotional maturity. Instead of forcing answers too fast, sometimes the wiser move is to create an atmosphere where the truth feels safe to come out on its own. Some of the most meaningful conversations begin long before anyone says a word. They begin the moment a person feels that someone is truly willing to listen. Silence also reveals something about you. The discomfort you feel when another person pulls back may expose your own fear of abandonment, your need for control, or your struggle with uncertainty. That is why silence can feel so loud. It is not only showing you the other person, it is also showing you yourself. The unspoken space between people often carries the hardest truths to face. A quiet person may be asking for understanding. They may be asking for patience. They may simply be asking for someone to stay present without judgment. And when you learn to hear what is not being said, you begin to understand that silence is not always the absence of communication. Sometimes it is the deepest form of it. Now think about this. There is often a huge difference between what people show and what they really feel. Every person builds an outer image to move through the world, a version of themselves that helps them feel accepted, protected, and in control. That outer image may seem confident, calm, successful, funny, distant, or unaffected, but underneath, the emotional truth may be very different. Many people learned early in life that certain feelings were not welcome. Maybe they were taught that sadness is weakness, that fear is shameful, that pain should be hidden. So they built defenses. They learned how to smile while hurting, how to stay strong while feeling empty, how to act fine while carrying something heavy no one else can see. The person who always seems strong may secretly wish someone would ask if they are okay. The one who makes everyone laugh may be holding private sorrow. The one who looks uninterested may actually be terrified of rejection. What you see is often one layer, not the whole person. And once you start understanding that, you stop judging people only by the mask they learn to wear. This difference between appearance and reality creates so many painful misunderstandings. People are often judged by visible actions while the deeper emotional cause goes unseen. A person who looks angry may actually be hurt. A person who seems distant may be protecting themselves from disappointment. A person who refuses help may not be proud in the way others think. They may simply have learned that depending on people leads to pain. The mind creates defenses to survive emotional injury, and many of these defenses become automatic over time. Someone may push others away before they can be left. Someone may hide their feelings before they can be mocked. Someone may say everything is fine because facing the truth feels too overwhelming. Understanding this changes the way we connect. It does not mean accepting harmful behavior without boundaries. It means realizing there is often a story behind the behavior, even when we cannot see it right away. True connection begins when people feel safe enough to lower the mask, and that safety is rare. Most people are starving for it without saying so. Deep down, one of the strongest desires in every human being is the wish to be understood, not just noticed, not just praised, understood. People do not only want others to see what they do, they want someone to understand what they feel, what they fear, what they carry, and why they react the way they do. Many struggles in relationships grow because people feel unseen in the places that matter most. Beneath anger, beneath tears, beneath frustration, there is often a quieter message. Can you understand what this feels like for me? That message changes the whole conversation when you finally hear it. Most people are not asking for perfect answers. They are not asking you to solve every problem. Very often they simply want their inner experience to be acknowledged. They want to feel that what they feel is real to someone else. That is why being understood can feel almost healing by itself. Throughout life, people create different versions of themselves to fit into the world around them. They learn what earns approval. They learn what avoids rejection. They become skilled at playing roles. But under those roles is a more real self that wants to be accepted without acting, without hiding, without performing. This is why it feels so powerful when someone understands you without needing a long explanation. It feels like rest. It feels like home. And being understood is not the same as agreement. Two people can see life differently and still build a deep connection if they make the effort to truly see each other's feelings and history. Many people carry memories of being ignored, criticized, or misunderstood for so long that they no longer know how to ask clearly for what they need. So the need leaks out through behavior, through defensiveness, through overreaction, through tears, through distance, through silence. A person may become unusually emotional, not because they want drama, but because they are trying to express something their words cannot carry. If you can learn to see that, the way you deal with people changes. Instead of only asking, "What did they do?" you start asking, "What might they be feeling?" Instead of reacting to the surface, you begin listening for the deeper message. And that deeper message is often simpler than people think. It is often just this: please see me, please hear me, please do not reduce me to one moment, one mistake, or one reaction. The path to understanding others begins with looking inward. This is where many people hesitate. It is easier to focus on other people's actions, other people's flaws, and situations outside our control than to examine our own emotions, beliefs, and reactions. But deeper understanding starts inside. Every person carries a private world filled with memories, fears, hopes, desires, expectations, and unresolved pain. These inner parts shape how we interpret everything. Two people can live through the same event and come away with completely different emotional meanings because each one is filtering it through a different inner story. Looking inward means noticing your reactions instead of only blaming other people for triggering them. If someone's words hurt you deeply, it is worth asking why they struck that particular place in you. Sometimes your strongest emotional reaction reveals an old fear, an unmet need, or a belief about yourself you have carried for years. Self-reflection is not self-attack. It is not about shaming yourself for being human. It is about becoming honest enough to notice what is happening inside. Many avoid this because they fear what they will find. But the parts we avoid often hold the exact lessons we need for growth. Relationships give us constant chances to see ourselves more clearly. The people around us can reveal our patterns, our wounds, our longings, and even our strengths. The person who frustrates you may be touching a part of you that needs healing. The person who inspires you may be reflecting a quality that is waiting to grow inside you too. Once you begin to understand your own fears and emotional habits, you become less controlled by them. You stop reacting on autopilot, you gain choice, and that changes everything. The inward journey is not about becoming flawless, it is about becoming conscious. The more aware you are of who you are and why you respond the way you do, the more freedom you gain in your relationships and in your life. You stop demanding that other people carry every hidden part of you. You stop making them responsible for emotional wounds they did not create. You become steadier, clearer, more compassionate. And this leads to a forgotten truth about connection. Under almost every human interaction is a simple desire to be recognized, accepted, and valued. In a world obsessed with image, achievement, and appearance, this basic need is often ignored. Yet it is everywhere. Many people are not looking for perfection. They are looking for the feeling that someone truly sees them. Every person carries invisible experiences that shape how they speak, how they love, how they defend themselves, and how they hide. A person may look confident while feeling uncertain. They may look independent while quietly wishing someone would stay. They may seem difficult while holding emotions they never learned to express in a healthy way. The lost message of connection is this: People are more than their worst reaction, more than their sharp tone, more than one hard moment. When we reduce someone to a single mistake, we ignore the deeper story living behind it. Real understanding asks for more. It asks us to look beyond the first impression, beyond the surface, beyond the behavior, and into the human being beneath it. That is where connection begins, not in controlling others, not in winning every argument, but in choosing to see the person inside the moment. Many relationships break down because both people are fighting to be understood, while neither one is truly trying to understand. Each one defends their own pain, each one explains their own side, each one protects their own emotions, and in that struggle, they forget the other person also has an inner world, a private history, and hidden wounds. True connection begins when we make room for another person's experience without rushing to judge it, fix it, or dismiss it. Acceptance does not mean agreeing with everything someone does. It means acknowledging that their emotions, their humanity, and their experience exist, even when they are different from yours. That alone creates safety, and safety is where honesty grows. Often, the deepest moments of connection are not dramatic at all. They happen in simple acts, listening without interrupting, being patient when someone is struggling, remembering the little details that matter to them, staying present when it would be easier to pull away. These small things say something powerful. You matter. Most people spend a big part of life trying to prove their worth, hide their weakness, and protect themselves from rejection. But beneath all of that is a common human hope to be accepted as they truly are. So, in the end, the person in front of you may not be asking for perfect words or perfect answers. They may not even be asking for a solution. They may simply be hoping to feel seen, heard, and valued. Maybe that is the message they have been trying to send all along. See me, not only my actions. Understand me, not only my reactions. Because real connection starts the moment we stop trying to decode people like puzzles and start meeting them like human beings. And sometimes the greatest act of love is not saying something brilliant. It is having the patience, the awareness, and the heart to notice what was never said out loud.